extended charges, the Gauss law is used. That is, Gauss law is applicable to find the electric field due to extended charges like spherical charge, cylindrical charge, line charge or linear charge, or charge on a plane sheet. Now see what Gauss law states. See the statement of Gauss law. Gauss law states that the total electric flux through any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by it. So this Gauss law gives it determines first electric flux. Using that we can determine electric field. Gauss law states that the total electric flux through any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by that surface. Phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. Here pi is the total electric flux, that is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times net charge Q enclosed by that surface. This is statement of Gauss law. To find the electric flux through any closed surface, that enclosing charge, we have to imagine a hypothetical surface, closed surface, that is called as a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface. Any closed surface, any hypothetical closed surface enclosing a charge is called as the Gaussian surface of that charge. Any hypothetical closed surface enclosing a charge is called as a Gaussian surface of that charge. Consider a sphere of radius r enclosing a charge q at its center. Divide this sphere into small area elements as shown in the figure. Divide the sphere into small area element delta S as in the figure. The total electric flux or the electric flux through this area element delta S is given by using Gauss theorem. We know that according to the properties of electric field lines, the electric field line is always normal to the surface of a charged conductor. So this direction of electric field is normal to the surface of the sphere. The electric flux through the area element delta S is given by delta pi is equal to electric field vector dot delta S vector. Here delta S vector is a area vector. This is equals to, this is given by the electric field at a point on the surface of the sphere at a distance r from the charge q at its center is given by q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square into r cap into area vector is along the normal to the sphere from the center of the sphere. Therefore, both r cap and delta S vector are in the same direction, that is r cap vector and delta S vector along the same direction. Therefore, the electric flux through the small area element is given by delta pi is equal to q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square into delta S. Since the magnitude of unit vector r cap is equals to 1. Now, the total electric flux through the entire sphere, total electric flux through the entire sphere is given by pi is equal to sigma delta pi summation of all the electric flux through the all the small area elements, that is equals to sigma delta pi is q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square into delta S. This is equals to q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square into sigma delta S. Sigma delta S is summation of area of all the area elements in the sphere, that is equals to q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square into summation of delta S is area of the sphere 4 pi r square. Therefore, pi is equal to 4 pi r square and 4 pi r square get cancels. Therefore, we get pi is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. This is Gauss theorem. Thus, the Gauss theorem states that the total electric applications of Gauss. Applications of Gauss. First application, first one, to find the electric field due to linear charge. Electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long infinitely long straight wire. Now let us find the electric field due to the uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire by using Gauss. For that, consider a uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire. Charge per unit length. Consider a uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire. Let lambda be the linear charge density on the wire. So this linear charge that produces a cylindrically symmetric electric field around it. So this linear charge that produces cylindrically symmetric electric field around it. Let us consider this pen is a linear charge, so it produces electric field in all directions, so therefore it produces cylindrically symmetric electric field around it. Let P be a point. Let P be a point at a distance r. P be a point at a distance r from the wire. To find the electric field at point P, imagine a cylindrical Gaussian surface of radius r and length L with the wire as its axis. To find the electric field at the axis of the cylinder. So let pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 are the electric flux through the surfaces S1, S2 and S3 respectively. Then pi 1 is equal to so here E into area of surface S1, that is equals to E into 2 pi r into L, where 2 pi r into L is the area of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. This is because here E is parallel to S1. vector E is parallel to area vector S1. Now electric flux through the plane surface S2 is pi 2 is equal to, here the area vector to the plane surface S2 is perpendicular to the direction of electric field. This is E. So the area vector S2 is perpendicular to that. Therefore, so electric flux pi is equal to E cos theta into area. So E cos 90 degree, cos 90 degree is 0. Therefore, electric flux through the plane surface S2 is 0 because here electric field vector is perpendicular to area vector S2. Similarly, electric flux through the plane surface pi 3 is also 0. This is also because here electric field is perpendicular to the area vector, surface area vector S. That is, this is electric field E. Here area vector S3, they are perpendicular. Therefore, electric flux through this surface, plane surface S3 is also 0. Now, the total electric flux through entire Gaussian surface is pi is equal to pi 1 unit length. Therefore, Q is equal to lambda into L. Therefore, pi equals to, in place of Q, substitute that is lambda L divided by epsilon. This is equation number 2. Now from equations 1 and 2, see from equations 1 and 2. Here pi is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Here in equation 2 pi is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. Therefore, E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L divided by epsilon naught. Here L get cancels. Therefore, E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught into R. This is the expression for electric field at a point, at any point, due to uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire. This implies that E is equal proportional to 1 by R. Means the electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire is inversely proportional to distance of the point from the line charge. As R increases, it means distance of the point from the this line charge increases, the electric field goes on decreasing. Therefore, E is proportional to 1 by R. This is the expression for electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire. So, this may be asked for 3 or 5 marks. Derive the expression for the electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire using Gauss law. First, they may ask state Gauss law and hence derive expression for line charge. See once again. Consider uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire. So this long straight wire faces S1, S2 and S3 respectively. Now let electric flux through the curved surface S1 is pi 1 is equal to E into A that is equals to E into 2 pi RL. So here the area vector for the curved surface is along the direction of electric field. The angle between electric field and area vector S1 is 0 degree. Therefore, they are parallel to each other. So, pi 1 equals to E into A, that is E into 2 pi RL, where 2 pi RL is the area of the cylindric Gaussian cylinder. Similarly, electric flux through the plane surface. Here wire is in this direction. Surface for the surface, plane surface, area vector is in this direction, but electric field is along this direction. Both are perpendicular to each other. So electric field is perpendicular to the area vector S2. Therefore, electric flux is 0, because electric flux is given by pi equals to E into A cos theta. Here theta is 90 degree. Therefore, cos 90 is 0. Electric flux is 0 through the plane surface S2 and similarly through the plane surface S3. The total electric flux through the entire Gaussian cylinder is pi equals to pi 1 plus pi 2 plus pi 3 is equal to E into 2 pi RL, plus pi 2 is 0 and plus pi 3 is also 0. Therefore, total electric flux through the Gaussian surface is pi is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Take this as equation number 1. Then according to Gauss law or Gauss theorem, the total electric flux through any closed surface is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. But Q is equal to lambda into L, where lambda is a linear charge density, that is lambda equals to Q by L. So therefore Q equals to lambda into L. Substitute here, pi is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. Take this as equation number 2. Then comparing equation 1 and 2 or equating equations 1 and 2. So E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L divided by epsilon naught. L get cancels. Therefore E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught into R. This implies that E is proportional to 1 by R. That is, electric field is inversely proportional to the. Now let us see the second application of Gauss law, that is to determine the electric field due to a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Last class we studied the electric field using Gauss law in case of a linear charge. This is second application to find the electric field in case of uniformly charged infinite plane sheet by using Gauss law. Let us consider a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Let us consider a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet of, let sigma be the surface charge density on the plane sheet. So this plane sheet that produces electric field in the surrounding space. Let P be a point at a distance r from the plane sheet. To find the electric field at point P at a distance r from the plane sheet, consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface of uniform cross-sectional area A, or we can also consider rectangular Gaussian surface, cylindrical or rectangular Gaussian surface. Let us consider this is the plane sheet, uniformly charged plane sheet. Okay. So the surface charge density on this plane sheet is sigma. So this charged plane sheet that produces electric field, uniform electric field in the surrounding space. So to find the electric field at any point P from this plane sheet, here is point P. If we consider, for that, to determine this electric field at this point at a distance r from the plane sheet, consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Here pen is considered as cylindrical Gaussian surface such that the axis of the cylinder is perpendicular to the plane of the sheet. If we consider this is the cylindrical Gaussian surface, this one is plane sheet. So inside we consider here, this is the cylindrical Gaussian surface of uniform area of cross section A. The axis of the cylinder is along its length, which is perpendicular to the plane of the sheet. Let this cylindrical Gaussian surface that consists of three surfaces, two is plane surfaces S1 and S2, and third one is a curved surface. So this is the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So it consists of three surfaces, two plane surfaces S1 and S2 plane surfaces, and third one is a curved surface S3. Pi 2 and pi 3 be the electric flux through the surfaces S1, S2 and S3 respectively. Now let us find the electric flux through the plane surface S1 at point P1. Pi 1 is equal to E into A, because E is parallel to area vector S1. Similarly, electric flux through the, here area vector, if we consider this is the plane surface, electric field is in this direction, and if we draw the normal to this plane surface, that is also in the direction of electric field. Here that is S1 vector and E vector, both are parallel. Therefore, electric flux pi is equal to, we know that E into A cos theta. Here theta is 0 degree because both electric field vector and area vector S1 are parallel to each other. Theta is 0 degree, cos 0 is 1. Therefore, pi equals to E into A. Similarly, electric flux through the plane surface S2, pi 2 is equal to is also E into A, because this surface, plane surface S2 is electric field is along this direction, and its area vector is that is S2 is also in the direction of E. Therefore, here E is again parallel to area vector S2. Therefore, pi 2 is equal to E into A. Then electric flux through the curved surface is 0, because here electric field vector is perpendicular to area vector S3. So electric field is in this direction. Here S3 vector is perpendicular to area vector. If we consider this is curved surface, we know that electric field is along this direction. So for curved surface, area vector is perpendicular to this curved surface, that is along this direction. The angle between electric field vector and area vector to this surface is 90 degree. Cos 90 degree is 0, 0 into anything is 0. Therefore, electric flux through the curved surface S3 is 0. Now, the total electric flux through the cylindrical Gaussian surface is pi is equal to pi 1 plus pi 2 plus pi 3. Substitute values. Pi 1 equals to E into A plus pi 2 is equal to E into A plus pi 3 is equal to 0 is equal to. So here pi is equal to 2E into E. Take it as equation number 1. According to Gauss law, the total electric flux through any closed surface is Q divided by epsilon naught. According to Gauss law, the total electric flux through any closed surface is 1 by epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed by it. The net charge enclosed by the plane sheet is Q, but Q equals to sigma into E, because sigma is the surface charge density that is given by Q divided by A. Therefore, Q equals to sigma into A. Therefore, this becomes I is equal to sigma A divided by epsilon naught. Take it as equation number 2. Now from equations 1 and 2. We have two EA is equal to sigma A divided by epsilon naught. A get cancels, therefore E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon. A get cancelled, cross multiply these two. Therefore, E equals to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. This is the electric field at any point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. See this expression here. The electric field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet is independent of distance of the point P. Means if we consider this is the plane sheet, at any point here or here or here, at any point if you find the electric field that is same, that is E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. It is independent of distance of the point from the plane sheet. Okay, see once again. Consider a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Let sigma be the surface charge density on the distance r. Let P be a point at a distance r from the plane sheet, as shown in the figure. So to determine the electric field at point P at a distance r from the plane sheet, imagine a cylindrical Gaussian surface that encloses point P, such that the axis of that cylinder is perpendicular to the plane of the sheet. So this cylindrical Gaussian surface that consists of two plane surfaces S1 and S2 at both ends of the cylinder and one curved surface S3. Let pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3 be the electric flux through the surfaces S1, S2 and S3 respectively. So pi 1 is equal to E into A, because electric field vector is parallel to the area vector S1. Similarly, electric flux through the surface S2 is pi 2 equals to E into A. This is also because electric field vector is parallel to the area vector S2, and electric flux through the curved surface S3 is 0 because electric field vector is perpendicular to the area vector S3. Therefore, the total electric flux through the entire Gauss, equation number 1. See, according to Gauss law, the total electric flux through any closed surface, Gaussian surface is also hypothetical closed surface, means imaginary closed surface. Through any closed surface, pi is equal to Q by epsilon naught according to Gauss law, but Q is equal to sigma into A, where sigma is surface charge density. Therefore, pi equals to sigma A by epsilon naught, equation number 2. Then from equations 1 and 2, equating both equations, 2 into E into A is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. A get cancels. Therefore, E equals to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. This is expression for electric field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet using Gauss law. So this expression shows that the electric field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet is independent of a distance of the point from the plane sheet. It depends only on the surface charge density of the plane sheet. So today we will stop here. Next class we will discuss other examples or other applications of a Gauss. Okay, thank you.